Well, hi folks, I'm up at the plot again, another reasonable evening for change, so I'll just give you another quick fortnightly roundup of how stuff's growing. So we'll start off with the peas. I think the peas were just starting to form pods the last one I did 2 weeks ago, but they're still not podded up yet. There's no peas in them yet because the weather's been so sort of dull and dank and cold over the last 2 weeks. They've just sort of slowed up, but there's still plenty to come anyway, so it should be maybe 3 or 4 days and we should start to get a few peas coming, a few peas to eat. But the garlic's still flying on, it's absolutely massive. If I get down, I'll show you the sort of size of it, the height of it. They'll be 2 foot tall really. No sign of any rust. It's looking a little bit streaky, but no rust as yet, so if it keeps growing another 3 or 4 weeks, maybe into August time, should have a few decent sized bulbs. Spring onions, I've been taking these now because they are ready. They're all decent size now. Perfect size to take, just sort of finger size. No point in leaving them any longer because they'll just be getting too big, and I've got plenty to go at. There must be 100 in there to go at. Second lot of lettuces are ready now. The multi-green and multi-red, I think they're called anyway. The cracking lettuce and the little gems, because these are the remnants of the first lettuces, and they're absolutely enormous, but they're still edible. See, look, like green and red, it's still fine. Cracking lettuce. Banana shallots, again, they're starting to bulb up a little bit. If I just try and give you a little bit of a size, not too big, but another sort of 6-7 weeks. Middle of August, well, maybe another 5 weeks. Sorry, they'll start bulbing up now, and we should get some decent shallots as usual. Red cabbage, doing okay. Had a little bit of slug damage on some of the savoys, if you can see the savoys in there. It's not very good to see with the net on and the sun out, but they're all bulbing up, sorry, hearting up nicely now. Now the potatoes, they're absolutely massive now. They're about 5 foot tall. They're the sarpos, and something even bigger are the Jerusalem artichokes, which are now about 6 foot tall. So like I said, with the sarpos, they're blight resistant. They just keep growing and growing and growing, and basically until the first frosts, and then you get them as big as possible. So I'll leave those to grow. We've got a few first earlies in, some Nicola and Charlottes, which have all flowered now. They're there in the pots, so I'll be tipping one of those out in the next few days. That'll be about 100 days or 90 to 100 days since I planted those, so we'll have a see how much we get out of a pot. The sweet peas have finally started to grow, started to bulk up a little bit, but they're well down. They're only like 3 feet tall. No sign of any flowers, but I've had them growing in October sometimes up here before we get any frost, so this should be a late starter, but hopefully we'll get a few flowers later on. There's a few, I've forgotten what you call those now. Please tell me, that are self-seeded. There we go, you can eat those apparently, and the seeds, like capers, so I don't think I'll bother though. So onto the marrow bit. As you can see, it's growing pretty well now. It's probably 15 feet long. Both of them, they're just about meeting in the middle. So I'll have to train one way and one the other, and hope I get a marrow set on one side on one and one side on the other, so they don't encroach on each other. But so far so good. I did try to pollinate one the other day, if you can see there. When the female flowers open, I stuck a male flower right up it, so we'll see if that's pollinated in a couple of days. If it starts growing, then it's pollinated. If it doesn't grow any bigger and shrivels up, then it's obviously not been pollinated. The onion sets, bulbing up slowly. These were the heat treated ones. As you can see, not a single one's gone to seed. Not one popped a little seed head up, so they do work, because we've had some pretty funky weather. It's been red hot, then freezing, then you name it. So happy with these, absolutely happy, because there's nothing more annoying than getting a decent set of bulbs growing and then I'm sending up a seed head, which means you can't store them, and you end up with a big rock hard thing in the middle. I'll just show you the sort of size. Like I said, not the biggest onion, sort of cricket ball size, but as far as I'm concerned, that's perfect for an onion. They do store a lot better. The smaller the onion, the better they store, because the big ones don't tend to store very well if they have big thick necks. So happy with that. It's been that windy, a lot of the necks have blown over, so I'll be having to harvest them quite prematurely. Pulled all the shallots up, I got about £15. I got tons actually. They were really good. So I'll be planting some, or sowing some turnips in the place, so they should be ready in sort of middle of September and hopefully carry on all winter when they slow down. The kale continues to grow, well, no matter what weather. No pests, as you can see, no slug holes, no caterpillar holes. It's just one of the wonder crops, absolutely idiot proof, and likewise that'll grow all winter. It's just an amazing crop. The leeks, I don't know about this year, they're really slow, they just don't seem to be growing, so God knows. And it doesn't help when you've got the pheasants making their nests in amongst them again and sitting on top of them and flattening them, but anyway, we'll see, not a lot we can do. Any giant runner beans, I'm trying those for the first time. They're from about a 2 foot odd runner bean pod I found. Got some seeds out of it, took some seeds. They're just starting to come into flower now. So it's purely just for my own stupidity. I'm just going to see how big I can get one. I don't think they're any good for eating, they'll be big old rough and tough things, so just another giant idiot vegetable to try. So I'll have a look at Polytunnel now. I've started a few more French beans off to try and keep a constant supply, because I'll show you my other ones in a minute, which are producing absolutely tons, but they will give up in probably a month or so. And the courgettes absolutely flying along. That's actually a bit big, but it's just, as you can see, just chucking them out all the way up. And like I said before, I just keep the plant erect by putting these canes in, just keeping it standing up and growing upwards, and they just seem to keep growing courgettes forever. Right, the Cobra Beans now, these are the ones that are ready, and there's just absolutely armfuls, but even when they get this big, they're still not tough. Look, they're just all over it, hanging off it in bunches. Absolutely crazy plants, absolutely idiot proof, and they're just so easy to grow. You can see, look, they're just hanging everywhere, coming absolutely everywhere. There's just bunches of them. These are some of the giant tomatoes I'm trying again this year. If you can see, look, real ugly things. And like I said, I'm just going to put leave one tomato on a plant, so all the energy from the one plant goes into the one tomato. The uglier the better, so we'll have a see how big they get. I grew one to about £3.5 last year, it's all just for fun anyway. The show carrots again, still leggy, but it's not the top to show, it's only the bottom, so they should be okay. Like I said, I'm not doing it that seriously this year, it's just for a couple of local shows, so there's no need to be world beaters. Likewise with the long ones, you know, they look fine already, so we'll see how they get on. Another sort of 2 months until we'll be doing the shows, or 7 weeks. We'll have a look. More of the giant tomatoes. I'll just show you this one first. This was a bit of a mistake. I got sent some seed, but I was sent the wrong stuff apparently, but it's some kind of purple tomato, which should be interesting. I'm just going to grow those for eaters. It's like a purple beefsteak, so there's plenty on it, all over it, so I'm not going to bother trimming that down. I'm just going to leave it as you would grow a normal tomato and see what it looks like, because it looked quite interesting anyway. And another one of the giant tomatoes. Like I said, you're trying to get one of these super mutant fruits to set, but unfortunately this one, only part of it's fertilised, so it's just going to be a little tiny tomato. So I'm going to hopefully try and get the next mega bloom, which is up there, further up the plant, pollinated, so we can get a proper mutant tomato one. Now I do have one mutant tomato that's growing quite well. That's on one in a pot. It's been topped out now, the pot, so all the energy goes into the tomato, and that's the said ugly thing. It's only about a week since it started growing, and there's about 5 or 6 tomatoes all welded together on that, so it should be interesting to see how they get on. Giant carrots again, absolutely flying now. They're absolutely huge. You can't get any scale, they're just enormous, and they've got multi-heads, which means there could be all sorts of different legs and stuff on it. The bigger, the more mutated, the better, just after a giant one. So far so good. Been keeping the moisture in, not watering too much. Moisture in with the white polythene so it doesn't evaporate. I'm just giving it a quick trickle every few days, maybe about 5 or 6 litres a week over the whole bed. Just trying not to give it a real good watering at once, because then it can just tend to split. Likewise the onions, so I'll finish off with the onions. I'm happy, but maybe not too happy. I'll just show you now. Biggest now is just 23 inches. instead, well, no, when I say just, it just turns 23 inches in circumference, so that'll be knocking on maybe £7 now, but it seems to be slowing down. But having said that, the weather has been absolutely atrocious the last 2 weeks. It's been so cold and dull. It's been like more like winter than summer, and they need a lot of light to grow up. So hopefully if the weather picks up without getting too hot, they might perk up again and start growing. But I've got plenty about this size. Most of them are all 21 inches now, and the odd one's 22, with the biggest 23. That one's about the best, I think, because that's quite a taller shape, and that's 22 inches, so we'll see. Still pumping a couple of leaves out very slowly, so it shows they're still growing, but we just need the weather to play ball, really. And if the weather turns a bit nicer without getting too hot, just needs to be bright and cool-ish, they should start to bulb, and hopefully we'll get there with a big one. So that's about it, folks. Another 2 weeks. Summer will be over soon, won't it? That's a bit depressing. Anyway, that's about it, folks. Another 2 weeks. Quick roundup. The sun's come out again. That's about how things stand at the moment, folks. See you later. Well, I thought I'll just nip round greenhouse as well now that I've just got home. I'll just show you what's going on. Another little cucumber there. That's one of the little burpless tasty green or market ball ones. Not got any fruit on as of yet. The pathetic little chilli plant I grew, the ones that's supposed to be the longest in the world. Still not got any flowers on, so that's a bit of a disaster so far. Tumbling tomatoes though, they're doing well still. They're just so easy to grow, just leave them, let them do what they want. There's tomatoes dropping off everywhere, so I think I'll be growing more of those like next year, instead of growing them up like cordon ones. Get some of these hanging basket ones in, because they're so easy to grow. My cucumbers finally gone back into life, look. That's 2 nice cucumbers there. See the size? Really nice and straight, so didn't set any for about a couple of weeks when the weather was really bad, but suddenly they just perked up a bit. So my favourite peppers now are these oxhorn ones, you know, I keep banging on about them, and that's why there's loads on the plant. They just keep coming all the way up, and it's not even a big pot. Really nice and sweet, especially when you fry them. Lovely, lovely peppers. What else have we got? The normal ones, normal bell peppers, getting a bit bigger. About 6 or 8 on a plant, so that's not too bad. And finally the tomatoes, which aren't brilliant this year. Getting a few decent trusses on now of Shirley's, but they're not very big. They were really big last year. It's down to this rubbish compost, but I can't complain. There's a few, look, they're all the way down. So they're early enough, they should go ripe if we get any sunshine. So that's about it, folks, in greenhouse. Just a quick roundup. So that's my fortnightly job thing, done it. What? See you later.